So welcome to today's training call. As always, we try and bring in new people to do trainings on different aspects of the business. So it's always something fresh. I was just talking to Neil about this just now. Often when you see something perhaps from a different person, it gives you a different perspective on things. Some things appeal to some people, etc. So today's training session is going to be given by Neil Slin. Neil has a successful traditional business background, also from the corporate world. He ran franchises successfully for many years. So he has experience in both traditional business and now network marketing. He joined Cashfx back in March of last year and has worked tirelessly to build a team now of 3,500 people. He's a director in the business and pushing really hard to go president. And the reason I wanted to bring him on today's call is because, as you know, something that is very close to my heart is setting goals, being very goal focused to enable you to achieve objectives much faster than you would if you weren't goal orientated. For those of you that watched last week's amazing interview with 𝙏𝙝𝙬𝙧 𝙁𝙤𝙧, when he was talking about the fact that he is goal orientated, this is something you see again and again and again with successful people. They are all goal orientated. So on today's training, what we're going to be doing is just sort of doing an extension of that. Once you've set your goals, once you've put together a plan of action, this is a great example, and this is why I wanted Neil to come onto the call, because he's very good at structuring his business and putting together a plan of action. And it's not just about yourself, it's also about the people in your business. You actually work with the people in your business in this process. And if you can master this, again, this will dramatically speed up the growth of your business. I hear it again and again, when people say, oh yeah, I'm going to achieve this target, this advancement by this time. And you talk to the person, they say, yeah, because Bill's going to do this and Fred's going to do that. If you just rely on other people to do things for you, what you'll find is that they won't necessarily hit their targets either, particularly if they're not setting goals and that kind of thing. So this is a great way of getting people to focus their minds, understanding what they need to do, and it really, really does pay dividends. This is why Neil's business is growing so fast. So without further ado, let me pass you over to Neil, and he can share this very, very interesting and very important insight with you on how to help you build your business. Over to you, Neil.
Thanks, Richard. Let me just put this on slideshow. So as Richard said, I bought into Cashfx on the 25th of March last year, just as we was going down into that first lockdown, and not knowing where I was going to earn money again. I rang a friend of mine, 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙑, he's also a director in this business now. He just literally got involved in this literally days before. He got me on a call with 𝙏𝙗𝙖𝙑, and I came in on a $1,000 plan. But quite honestly, I'd had my fill with network marketing. I tried several of them. I spent 4 years with one particular company, and I think I got up to a grand sum of about £400 a month. So quite honestly, quite genuinely, I've said this many, many times to different audiences, I wasn't looking to build a team. It just was going to be purely passive. However, through lockdown, probably out of boredom as much as anything else, I was just talking to different people I knew. And a handful of those people joined without really me having any agenda. And they must have done the same, because some of their people joined. Now, I got towards the end of May, and I had 28 people in my team somehow. I'd earned about $1,000, which was double what I'd earned in a month, having spent 4 years with another network marketing company. So a light bulb moment went off in my head a little bit, thinking, well, there's got to be something in this. I've just earned $1,000 in May, and I haven't really done anything. So I made a decision to really understand what this company is about, what the opportunity is. So the first thing I did then was literally just plow myself into the company, started watching all the different trainings from different people, Richard, Brian Chittick, John Kinnear, so on and so forth, Ray Sinclair, Roy Maurice's. I just started watching every presentation, every training session there was, just to ingrain myself in the company and actually understand what this was all about and what were the different milestones. Now, clearly, the first milestone that we all aspire to is getting to executive. So, but when I actually looked at what executive was, 3 key things: $1,000 plan. Well, I'd already got that. Sponsored 3 people. Well, I'd already done that, albeit one of them was my wife, but I've got my 3 people. So the only other thing I needed was the volume of business, 25,000 points. And then I remember someone telling me 25,000 points was $50,000. And I thought, that's a mile away. That's not going to happen. But then again, I looked at my 30-day points, and I think I was already around about 6,000 or 7,000 points for the 30 days. So I was already 25, 30% there, again, without really doing anything. This was sort of end of May. So I started to plan something out, and planning is not something I'm natural at. It's not something I'm particularly good at. But one thing I've learned over the years, without a plan and then putting that plan into action, nothing else happens. You don't achieve your milestones. You don't achieve your aspirations, your targets. If you do it by luck, it's not sustainable. And it certainly isn't replicatable. And one thing with network marketing, whatever you do, it needs to be replicatable and it needs to be simple. And then everybody from any background, any skill set can do exactly the same, which is effectively how I think my team, Richard's team, various other people's teams are growing, because we keep it very, very simple. So the first thing I did was, well, I'd already decided that getting to executive, I'd already done it. It was just volume of business. So I started planning towards manager. And this is something that's been quite effective when I've been doing this with my team, is planning 2 positions ahead. So if someone's made a start, they've recruited the first handful of people, it's a matter of time, assuming they want to, and that's another key thing, is understanding your downline's aspirations, and might not all want the same things as you, want to run at the same pace as you. But if they do, and they want to proceed to executive and manager, so if they're ace trader, let's start planning out your manager position. When they get to executive, let's start planning out your director position. My whiteboard over my right shoulder at the moment has got my ambassador position mapped out. And this is what I started doing. So I started drawing out my tree. So this is obviously fictitious because the real one's on my whiteboard, and we'll share these slides later on. So firstly, I put some time scales to where so the date of when you want to achieve these different milestones. So if I was sitting here today and I was goal setting, somebody joining CFX today, it'd be very realistic that they could get to executive in the next couple of months if they applied themselves and were quite proactive. There's absolutely no reason why they couldn't be manager 3 months later, director sort of in the early autumn, if they wanted to. But it doesn't matter, whatever those dates down, let's write them down and commit. And then draw out your position. So the reason here, so this is me that I'd be as manager. To be manager, we need 2 things really. We need 2 executive legs. So I haven't got those executive legs at the moment, but then I start making a list of people that are potentially have made a start in their CFX business that are likely to go executive. And one thing that's very apparent, when you start doing this, you start seeing strengths and weaknesses in your own structure. So just this example here, it's very clear that this leg here, this executive bubble here, is going to get filled up by one of these people, because there's 4 people in this example that are going to have made a really, really good start and are likely to get to executive in due course. This bubble is probably less secure because there's only a couple of people that made small starts. Sorry, Brian, I'll use your names as an example here. So if this was my team now and I was looking at this, this is pretty strong. There's a few candidates here that are going to get to executive. This one's not so strong. So I'd be recruiting more people here on my front line to make sure that I've got some strength and some resilience of creating that second executive leg. What I'd also be doing is working with these people that have made a good start and understanding what their aspirations are, explaining to them, planning out with them their manager structure, so they can then just start doing the same. So they can start looking at people underneath them who are also going to want to get to executive and manager, and then start working with them as well. And then equally, when people get to executive, let's start looking at their director structure. And again, this is really, really key now, because there's obviously a bit more complexity to this now, because there's more positions we need to fill. So for someone to get to director, they need 2 managers. So in this example, this guy called Richard, I don't know if you've heard of him, he's got to executive. So we know with what he's got going underneath him, other people that are building towards executive, we know that's going to push Richard up to manager. This one equally, but there's a weakness in these ones here. So Brian's got to executive here. He's got a couple of people that are building underneath him now that are going to push Brian to manager, but there's a weakness here. And I can give you a real life example of this. So I'm sure he doesn't mind me mentioning his name. There's a guy called Keith Kruger in my downline. He's one of my early people I sponsored. Around about September, he had quite a good business underneath him, but his 30-day points wasn't moving on. He was around about 40,000 points, and that had been, points were coming on, but as fast as they were coming on, they were coming off. So we met up at sort of the end of September, and we did this structure. We drew this out on a big sheet of paper of his whole structure. So he was an executive at the time. We had 2 executive legs, but he wasn't moving forward and getting from sort of 40, 50,000 points up to the 75,000 points. So we drew out this structure. We identified a particular weakness where there wasn't many people that were recruiting proactively. And the only answer to do this is recruit people in that space where there's a weakness in that particular leg. So that's what we did. So between me and Keith, I think we put on about a dozen people. Those dozen people have now turned into a couple of executives. Literally 3 weeks later from when we did that exercise, Keith went manager, middle of October. That also happened to shove me up to director. But now Keith's following that same process through all of his downline. Keith's on the verge of director now. He's literally any day he's going to pop director. And all it was drawing out this structure and visualizing. It's okay to have it in your head, but actually when you actually draw it out on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard, you actually see where the strengths and weaknesses of your business are. And you can see where it needs attention. You can see who else are going to be your big leaders in your own business, who are going to take this forward themselves. There's one particular leg under me at the moment. It's got 4 or 5 really, really strong people in at the moment, and they've all done this exercise. We have these Monday night calls, and they've all done this exercise where they actually visualize their whole business. They all goal set with each other. Everybody knows each other's aspirations, how much effort they can put into this, when they're looking to pop executive and manager. And all those shared aspirations all knit together to help them all achieve where they want to go. But I really, really stress that if you do this, guys, it will really, really help you to understand what you've got underneath you, what's developing, what's growing, what needs addressing in terms of people coming on board. So in this, if I wanted to get to director here and this executive isn't going to happen because there's no one here that are recruiting proactively, I'm never ever going to get to director because no one else is ever going to get to manager here. So I really, really stress. We'll share these later on. So the other things we also do, and this helps plan this out, and this is really your own activity. So if I'm an ace trader at the moment and I'm looking to get to executive by the end of April or whatever date it is, let's put some goals. So we did it in blue here about what percentage I am going to be to get to executive. How many people we've got in our team, in your overall team. But never ever stop recruiting yourself. If you really, really want to take responsibility and drive this, my tip would be you never ever stop recruiting. I've recruited 3 people this week. And then write down how many people you're recruiting each week. And if you go a couple of weeks here without recruiting anybody, that's probably going to have an effect on some of these figures here for yourself as well. But if you write down these goals and you say, right, if I'm going to be 60 people in my team by the 8th in a week's time, and you hit it, that's great. Analyze where the strengths are, keep analyzing. If you don't hit it, again, analyze what's happening wrong, what's going wrong. And I can literally put money on it that if you actually look at this chart and then update it weekly with these 30-day points, you'll start to see trends that are happening in your business and the reasons why you are being successful or why it's not being successful in the timescales you'd love it to be. So again, thanks for Beverly Price for putting these together because these are quite useful and a lot of people now are using these in our downline. And then this is this is quite a good thing as well. So then we're now breaking down some of these achievers now on their 30-day points about where they're progressing. So if you remember, right, these are these people here. So these are people that are aspiring to be executive. They're building up their 30-day point value in their team. And then it's just keeping a track of where their 30 days are progressing. So if this guy here, Brian, if his points are not progressing, let's understand why, and let's work with him to help him. If they are progressing really, really well, like this guy here, that's great. We know, and we keep track of them. We know what's happening. And maybe we can use this guy here to help us on some of our team calls and things like that. But it really is a good tracker to see who's progressing, who's not progressing, and it help you really understand your business. And unless you really understand your business in some sort of detail, and I'm not a natural at this at all. I have to force myself to do this, and I update mine weekly. It really helps me see the strengths and weaknesses of what I'm trying to do. Is that clear?
Yep, very clear. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they're not particularly detailed, but that's all I'm doing really, and that's what's helping people achieve their objectives and move forward.
So that's a short training, but an incredibly powerful one. You know, this is something that I do, you know, when I went, for example, president, I had quite a mountain to climb. I was a long way from it in key areas of my business. So what I did, just like Neil did, I assessed what I needed to do, looked at the people in my business, looked at the people that were, you know, wanting to go to work. That's always a key thing, by the way. It's one of the mistakes people often make in network marketing, is they introduce just a handful of people and then they try and make those people into aces. It doesn't work like that. You know, particularly when you're new, you know, you need to treat your business like a real business and constantly add new blood. And then you're looking for the people that want to go to work. And you'll know who they are, because they're the people that are asking all the questions. They're the people that are asking you to do calls with them, that kind of thing. So they will pop up. You'll see who they are. And then you can, as I said, assess what they're doing and put a structure in place to help those people achieve their goals. And that was the thing. You know, you don't just do it yourself. It's all very well having goals yourself, but you have to get people involved in that process in your team. So by doing this team structure system, you're getting them involved, getting them setting goals, so that everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone is working towards their own objectives. And this is, as I said, is the wonderful feature of this business. It's all about bringing people up. You're helping other people become successful so you can become successful yourself, which is fantastic. You know, you join most businesses, you join, you're on your own. In this business, you're basically being helped every step of the way. So again, this system, by doing this, will focus. Now, one of the questions I'm sure many of you will have is, you know, can you get hold of these templates that Neil has shown here? Neil, I assume that we can get those and we'll post those out in the group and also in the back office in the library, so that you can access those because they are very, very useful. So just in summary, guys, again, it gets back to this. You're on this call today, so you're clearly serious about your business. You know, you're taking time out of your Saturday to be on the call, so you're clearly interested in being successful in the business. And my recommendation is always just to keep coming on these training calls, because every time there's going to be something different, something that you can add to your knowledge base, something that is going to help you build your business. But key thing is to treat your business like a real business. As I said, it's something that I see often in network marketing, that people come into it and they treat it like a hobby. You know, they get to the end of the week and they haven't done anything on it, you know, and of course that's okay. You know, that's the great feature of our business and our industry, is that, you know, you can build a business, etc., at your own pace. And we all have our own goals and aspirations. Watching the amazing interview last week with 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣𝙠, you know, he talks about, you know, his background. I mean, extraordinary. In fact, I actually became a bit emotional when he was talking about the fact that he got a, you know, a Satsuma for Christmas. That was how poor his family was. To come from that to where he is today is genuinely remarkable, a very remarkable man. But that opportunity on a much smaller scale is what we've got here with CFX. You know, we've got a business that, you know, enables people to give you the tools, the systems, the training, everything you need with a very simple concept of going out there and building an organization that can really change your financial future. And, you know, I'm sure Neil will agree with me when I say this, that it's something that we see again and again and again. This business is making a hell of a difference to people's lives all around the world. Everyone in CFX is making money, but as we move forward, people that are taking this opportunity and running with it are genuinely changing their financial futures. And that's a lovely thing to see. That's, by the way, why 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣𝙠 is involved in the business, because he can see that as well. You know, it's not just the way people can make money from the business, but also it's the education you get. It's the training you get from the leaders in the business and helping you grow your business, and you know, many other aspects of it. So I hope you found that helpful, guys.
Just one thing, Richard, what I'd say, I mean, one thing I've learned with this business and other businesses, if you track your numbers with your own numbers as well as your individual team numbers, it's motivating for every individual. You know, if they goal set, which we keep talking about, what they want to recruit 2 people this week, track their 30-day points, track their lifetime points. If you track these stats and when people achieve them, it is so motivating, and you'll find it'll inspire those people onto another level. And that's what I've found now.
Absolutely right. And that's the thing about goal setting. You know, if you didn't set that goal of introducing 2 people this week, you could very easily get to the week and the end of the week and done nothing. You know, this is a business where we have only the carrot. I think you may have heard me talk about this in the past. In a traditional business, you have both the carrot, you're in the business to make money, but you also have a stick. If you don't get out of bed every day and put in the effort, you know, how are you going to pay your staff, your overheads and everything else? You have to do that. Otherwise, you're going out of business. In a business like CFX, of course, we don't have the stick. So you have to be self-motivated. So you have to have the belief in the business. You have to have the understanding of it. You know, do your due diligence. I'll always come back to that. Understand what you've got with CFX, that it's the real deal. You know, it's looking like it's going to be around for a very long time. So it's worth putting the effort in. Understanding the income potential from the business as well is astronomical. You know, you don't have to build a monster business with CFX to make life-changing money. That's one of the features. You know, this is why 𝙏𝙗𝙗 set the business up, a business that even if someone's just a passive member, they can make life-changing money with time. It takes time if you're doing it that way. But you can accelerate the process by going out there and building business. And by setting goals and doing what Neil has described here today, you take control of your business. You're making it happen, not for you, but for the people in your business. And by helping them achieve their goals, then that pushes you towards yours as well. So it's a wonderful side of this business. So I hope you found that useful, guys. As I said, short training session today, but a very powerful one. So this will be published, as always, in the back office, probably sort of Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Ray at the moment is absolutely flat out building. He's focusing on getting to president himself. So he's doing all of this stuff and more to get there. So if it takes a little while for these things to be posted, that's why, because he's absolutely flat out. But it will be posted in the back office. So if people in your team have missed this, want to see it, or you want to go over it again, you can go and see it. And as I said, I'll also post the templates that we were shown here. So thanks very much, Neil. Very, very good training. Appreciate that. And everyone, enjoy your weekend. And don't forget, there's the corporate call, end of month corporate call this evening, which is always worth listening into, because often the company gives us insights and updates on what's happening. So, all right, guys, take care.